All right, so it's been about 2 weeks since the A05 video, and I think I've got the perfect wicks. Hello everyone, I'm Jeff Standley with Standley Handcrafted, and today is gonna be kind of a follow-up on the A05 coconut soy wax that we were testing out a couple weeks ago. I started out with these and I definitely need to make a correction at the beginning of this video. I started out doing these with the LCS 45s, I believe. And I'm not sure what I was thinking, but they were absolutely the wrong wicks on that one. So within about an hour, probably not even that, within about 30 minutes, I started burning these from the very first time. I knew they weren't gonna work, so I went ahead and blew them out, pulled the wicks, and then I popped a couple more in. I started with right around the LCS 50 and the 60 between this one and this one. And again, within about an hour, I knew those weren't gonna work. Also, the 60 was getting a little bit closer, but after about 2 hours in, I knew I wasn't gonna get a full melt pool. The wax was reaching, not really, this isn't a good example of this one because this has burned several times since then, but the 60s were even more buildup around there. So I bumped up to the 65 and the 70s. So I was burning those two kind of going back and forth. The 65s were doing really well. I was getting kind of pretty close to a full melt pool right at the 3 hour mark. And the 70s were just about getting there as well, except the flames were getting really big in the 70s, which I wasn't a fan of. So as you can see with these right here, I've burned those down quite a bit so far. I can't remember how many burns I've done in these. I'd say going back and forth between a bunch of different wicks in these two vessels. I've been doing the wickless method. As soon as I know they're not going to work, I just pull them out, take a heat gun, smooth it all out, put 2 new wicks in there and see what they'll do. And the LCS 70s were getting really close, but again, the flames were just getting a little too big, and only big at probably the first half hour, which if they're big when you first light them, I'm not too concerned with that one because they will die down a little bit, especially once they actually start melting and burning into the wax. But even after an hour, the flames were still a little bit bigger than I wanted to, kind of dancing and flickering all over the place. And then right about the 3 hour mark is when they started to look really good, but they just weren't hitting that full melt pool. You could tell that they were definitely basically going to be 2 circular tunnels kind of going all the way down. It wasn't hitting the side of the wax like you can see right there. That's not a good example because these are different wicks. So after going back and forth, especially in this vessel, and I do want to make that known, the LCS wicks work perfect in every other vessel I use with different waxes, even the A05. So putting it in something like this with the LCS wicks and the A05, I have a wick that burns these really well. But jumping into the lumens, they weren't burning like I wanted them to, so I switched over to the Premier wicks, and I think I've got a winner in that one. So I'm gonna go through and test these just a little bit more. I've got this one right here, which is the Premier. See if I can get my head out of the way and zoom in. So you can see a little bit of buildup there. That was going for probably 3.5 hours. And again, I think those are the ones, and they're the Premier 770s. I think those are the ones that are going to work in this one. So now that I've narrowed that down, I'm going to go ahead and make a fresh candle. I'm going to put the wicks in it, secure the wicks, and then burn that one from top to bottom, and not using the wickless method now that I think I've kind of narrowed the wicks down. I kept going back and forth. I tested the Premier 760s, the 765, the 767, and then the 770s and also the 775s. And they were doing a pretty good job, and they were actually doing a pretty good job. The Premier 770s, these are the ones that I think it might go up from this one, but again, going up from this one, the flames start out a little big, but again, once you get to the 3 hour mark, they're absolutely perfect. But I think I can get away with the 770s, so that's the one I'm going to be testing on this one. So there's still a little bit more testing on the A05 with the lumens, but I wanted to jump in here, make a quick follow-up video on basically the testing I've been doing over the last 2 weeks since the last video. And again, if anybody out there is using the lumens with the A05, let me know what wicks are working for you, and I would love to test them out. I've got a few more wicks. I've got some HTPs, I've got some CDNs, I've got some CDs that I'll definitely test in these, but I'm really liking the way the Premier wicks are burning. So I think I'm going to go with these, and we'll probably be doing a third follow-up video, or actually I will be doing a third follow-up video, which is going to be exactly what fits these vessels with this wax. All right, so just a quick video on Sunday. I hope that was helpful for anybody that's following along with this wax and this in these vessels. And of course, if you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comment section down below, and we'll see you in the next video.